Warner Brothers Discovery has faced many hurdles in trying to get their Superman reboot into cinemas. There has been fan hesitation, fan ambivalence, criticism of how they handled their casting of the film, but now they might face their biggest hurdle yet, in that the Schuster estate, one of the co creators of Superman's family, is suing. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast, where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. James Gunn is directing a reboot of Superman, and it has faced all kinds of hurdles as it heads into cinemas. For a long time, Gunn and his co CEO, or whatever they're called, of DC Films have been under strict scrutiny by fans and audience members over how they handled the relaunch of the DC film franchise, now simply called the DC Universe, with Superman supposedly being the flagship film of this franchise. They are facing all kinds of hurdles, criticisms over the cast, criticism over how the trailer showed things, criticism over how they are writing the film, all kinds of things. Not to mention, James Gunn is a liar. He tells lies a lot, especially about the filmmaking process of the DC studios. Now they're facing an even bigger hurdle because the family of Joseph Shuster, who is one of the co-creators of Superman, is suing DC and Warner Brothers Discovery over the distribution of this new Superman film. This is according to bleedingfool.com. The estate of Joseph Shuster has filed a lawsuit against the upcoming Superman movie directed by James Gunn. Shuster was one of the original creators of Superman along with Jerry Siegel. The estate is claiming that Warner Brothers Discovery and DC Comics don't have the rights to distribute the movie in certain territories, including Canada, the UK, Ireland, and Australia. This is due to specific copyright laws in these countries that revert the rights back to the creator's estate 25 years after their death. Since Shuster passed away in 1992, the estate argues that they should have control over the rights in these regions. Warner Brothers has responded, saying they fundamentally disagree with the merits of the lawsuit and are prepared to fight it in court. The estate is asking the court for a cease and desist order against releasing the film in those markets, and they are asking for a jury trial. Head on over to bleedingfool.com and read more of their pop culture stuff. They have a lot of great articles on what is going on in the entertainment industry. If I'm going to be honest, I'm surprised this lawsuit didn't come sooner. Warner Brothers treats their creators horribly, especially what happened to Schuster and Spiegel. Research it, it is disastrous. They basically paid them $500 for the concept, promising them wealth and that their names are going to be known, only to backstab them. It was only through frequent lawsuits and courtroom drama that the families of these two great minds finally were able to get some sort of resolution. By the way, DC Comics hasn't just done this to these gentlemen. They've also done it to Bill Finger, the co-creator of Batman. They did it to the creator of Black Lightning and a whole host of other creators. That's why DC Comics and Marvel Entertainment, their contracts are so strict when it comes to hiring a new creator. It's kind of interesting if you go through all the turns and the twists in these battles for copyright. You will find all kinds of things, because then they invented trademark, which is why, even though technically Mickey Mouse is in the public domain, thanks to Steamboat Willie finally reaching that area, Disney can still control the trademark of it. I think that's absolutely despicable. I think once something goes into the public domain, it should just be in the public domain. And hey, that goes for my works as well. After my family gets a time when they can enjoy the fruits of my writing labor, I want it to go into the public domain. I want people to explore these characters. Not while I'm alive. I want to be the controller of it, and I want my family to control it for a time. But once that time is up, I want it to just lapse into the public domain and for people to enjoy these stories in a more open way. And I hope the same happens with DC Comics, because Batman and Superman, they're both up to be eradicated as far as the rights to DC Comics. They're about to enter the public domain. So I imagine both the Schuster and the Siegel family, they want to have an opportunity to reap the benefits of what those two great men did. And I don't blame them. I don't know if this will affect the movie. It might create enough negative press where it'll have an impact on the box office. I'm not really sure about that because when the issue with Bill Finger's involvement in the creation of Batman happened, it didn't really affect the outcome of Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice. It didn't really affect the comic books at the time. But even as a Batman fan, I see how Superman's global identity has sort of impacted pop culture, not just in the United States, but all over the world. There's even this crazy Bollywood film where the two main characters, one of them, it's about, Bollywood films, they do a lot of romantic musicals. And there's a scene where the man randomly turns into Superman and the woman, she randomly gets a Spider-Man costume without the mask, and then they fly off together. And seeing that, there's even a really famous song in Mexico about how Superman is an immigrant and all these other types of connections. So even me as a Batman fan recognizes that Superman is an icon of truth, justice, and the American way. Hopefully the Schuster family will get some form of justice from this. I'm not sure if the court will be willing to hear them. I hope so. They deserve their day in court. Even after all the other days of court, they deserve it. Their family legacy deserves to be preserved. Now, will this impact the box office of Superman? Like I said, I don't really know. We'll have to wait and see. It didn't really impact previous films when it came to Batman. But like I said, Superman is much bigger. And we'll have to wait and see. But ultimately, I think the Schuster family do deserve their day in court. They do deserve to be heard, and they do deserve the fruits of the labor of their family member who co-created one of the greatest superheroes to ever come out of comic books. If you liked that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment, tell me what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. If you would be so kind, head on over to my website, StudioJakeMedia.com. I have all kinds of pop culture commentary regarding comic books, anime, film, television, music, and so much more. Best of all, it's free and there are no ads. All you have to do is sign up with your email address or through the WordPress app, and you'll get an article daily. Come on over, join the fun. If you want to support the work that I do, head on over to my locals community. The link is in the description of the video. It's where you can sign up for a monthly tier, or you can send my articles tips. By the way, I also post exclusive articles there. I'm a little behind, but I am going to start that back up very soon. And not to mention, I post my short stories there. So head on over to my locals community and support me. That would be awesome. Speaking of stories, I have written 4 novels. I should say written and published 4 novels. I've got Cacophony, which is a supernatural thriller featuring angels and demons warring over the souls of a small Texas town. I've got my Sword and Sorcery series. Book 1 of it, The 7 Royals, All Good Things. Book 2 is The 7 Royals, Breaking the Stars. Book 3 is on its way, and I'll have an announcement about that very soon. But if you like magic and princesses and princess, this one has some of your favorite fairy tale characters that have to come together to stop a dark army from invading and taking over their lands. You're not going to want to miss it because, like I said, book 3 is coming soon and it'll conclude the trilogy. Last but certainly not least is my newest novella, Blessed Child. This story is a fantasy romance. It follows an elf princess who discovers she is pregnant with a human child, sending the elven kingdom into chaos. This forces her father, the king of the elves, to hire a disgraced knight who is on the path to redemption as her bodyguard. The two form an unlikely friendship, and they face all kinds of turmoil and chaos thrown their way. It is about courage under fire, standing up for what you believe in. It is life affirming, and you're not going to miss it. Pick it up, pick the others up, or all 4, and leave me a 5-star review. They're all available on Amazon. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.